Hello and welcome everybody to the Netolic Raidcall Pro League Day 6 East Division. We have a great game for you. I am so sorry everybody watching both on stream and Dota TV for the delays that we've had today. Luckily, most of the games were able to start on time, but unfortunately if you are watching this stream, www.twitch.tv/NetolicTV, you have been delayed quite a bit just as a result of the fact that we actually did, due to Steam issues earlier, one of the teams couldn't actually field their full roster. For Love did have to forfeit their match against Pacific 2, but all of that is behind us now. We are jumping into Vykromond Gaming versus TnC Gaming. Now, both of these teams are 2-0 in their group, so this is Group D of the East Division. Both of these teams are guaranteed to be in the playoff phase of this tournament. However, whichever team wins is in a far stronger position going into the playoffs than the one that doesn't, because either team that wins, they actually end up first in the group, which will seed them into the winner's bracket of the playoff phase. Whereas the team that loses will actually be seeded into the loser's bracket of the playoff phase, and they'll have to play quite a few best-of-1 matches to actually make their way up to the top. Consequently, even though both teams are 2-0, even though neither of them are ever going to get kicked out, they're both going to make the playoffs, this game is still very, very consequential. And these are two interesting teams as well. TnC Gaming, a team that I didn't know that much research on before this tournament started, but they put together a very good performance so far. They had a very close gaming with, I think, Gizmo Gaming in this division, and they sort of walked over the other team, but in both games, their #1 player, Plom, has done extremely well. He went 15-2 on Phantom Lancer, 17-2 on Anti-Mage, so he is an absolutely excellent player, and just a very strong team overall. We do have both teams with their full 5 roster, no stand-ins, so hopefully we have two teams here playing sort of at the peak of their powers. Vykromond Gaming, of course, has been getting a lot of new attention by the fact that they have the legendary Dota 1 player ZSMJ returning to the professional scene on them. Initially, he was actually on VG's second team, VG2 squad, and then he was sort of promoted up to the #1 role on Vykromond Gaming, with CTY, who was playing as their carry, moving to the mid role that actually a lot of commentators, I think, especially in China, I think that the mid role is more appropriate to CTY's playstyle. And certainly in this tournament, VG has absolutely rolled their first two opponents. I mean, their games against Gizmo and against Joe Elite Team were not by any means close. They had excellent play all across the team. Frankly, especially their second game, their game against Gizmo, which you can check out in the VOD section on day 4, was just really just a show of force, with Phi playing an excellent Shadow Demon game, Fenrir landing Blind Splitterwiths on his Leshrac, ZSMJ played excellent Juggernaut play as well. It was just, XCT was on Magnus, CTY was playing, I can't remember what actual hero CTY was playing, but all I remember is that everybody just played an absolutely remarkable, strong game across the board, and I was just very, very impressed. Let's get up into this draft. So we are actually all the way through the first picks. I decided to talk a little bit more about just what the dynamics of the matchup was, just because these days the first pick phase usually doesn't have that many surprises for us, and it doesn't have that many surprises for us in this game. Vykromond, they are taking the Shadow Demon again, so you will see Phi up on the SD. This is an excellent choice. It's interesting that they value it so highly that they would actually pick it up first pick, but I suppose it's just one of Phi's favorite heroes. Rubik, he's also extremely strong with, but because he's going to be on this Shadow Demon, you do actually see Vykromond banning out that Rubik. Let's note also, Magnus banned out, Lifestealer, Nyx Assassin, Bat Rider. So they secure Shadow Demon with their first pick, and TnC responds by taking Lone Druid and Keeper of the Light. And then as the third pick, they then added up on a Phantom Lancer. If we got to the second ban phase, you would probably see this Phantom Lancer actually taken out of the game. So if you want PL, which TnC do, because they do like to give Plom those hard carries, you sort of have to secure the PL early enough that you're actually able to get him and make sure that he makes it through the ban phase. Keeper of the Light PL, of course, is a very, very famous combo. People, to the extent that a lot of people, I feel, complain about it, they think it's not. Actually, we do have a disconnect, but he should be getting back on. Shouldn't be an issue. A lot of people have complained in the past about Keeper of the Light Phantom Lancer, but the facts on the ground are that it's just a very, very strong combo. You'd be remiss not to consider it in your drafting, and so TnC certainly are doing that. Moving up into the second, Vykromond Gaming, the only other note, Queen of Pain for CTY. This could be a very, very relevant pickup for Vykromond. Depending on how strong of a mid TnC run, if this Queen of Pain is allowed to run rampant, CTY plays a very aggressive, in-your-face style, and it could really put TnC on the back foot, especially with regards to this Phantom Lancer. If they sort of control Keeper of the Light and are able to keep his levels down, then Phantom Lancer will be made vulnerable, and the Queen of Pain can sort of charge in and try to pick him off. So it'll be interesting what VJ actually do. We don't know their tri-lane situation yet. We just know that Shadow Demon is going to be part of it. So we're not entirely clear on what the shape of the draft as far as VJ's full team composition is going to be. Lone Druid, meanwhile, this is almost certainly going to be a solo hard lane Lone Druid, although there is the option of putting it solo safe with a tri-lane, depending on what they actually pair up with this Keeper of Light Phantom Lancer. But that would be a rather bold choice for a team that really likes to build up their hard carry. I would actually expect TnC, no matter what they draft, to end up with a safe lane tri-lane with a Keeper of the Light Phantom Lancer plus X, and the Lone Druid actually up on the hard lane. So, of course, the one thing that we have to mention whenever we talk about ZSMJ being on VG is that he did make his name playing very, very hard late game carries. So, of course, his Medusa extremely famous, his Phantom Lancer very well known, and so I don't know if we'll see either of those this game. We definitely do need some sort of #1 for him. I was going to mention the Lina. Lina is what Fenrir is going to be playing. They would have liked the Leshrac, but a smart strategic ban from TnC to take that Leshrac out. But in terms of supports that go in combination with Shadow Demon, Lina is right there behind Leshrac. She brings less pushing power, so VG in fact have next to no concerted ability to push towers. That's an interesting dynamic in this game, because TnC bring both the push from the Phantom Lancer Lone Druid and the anti-push from Keeper of the Light. So they're already a team that's going to be revolving around trying to secure towers. Whereas VG, especially with this Lina, who's a pure killing potential character, are going much more focused on actually getting kills and fighting out those team fights, but not necessarily taking down towers quickly. Oh, if you have one of the best farmers in Dota history on your team, one thing that you can do is give him the best farming hero in the game. And VG, I did not think they were going to go with the Alchemist, because in the last couple games they've been running this sort of mid-game carries. But I guess if you farm very well, then Alchemist can also be a mid-game carry. Wow. Okay, so Bane, very good killing potential character. He is able to do huge lockdown. He's got the ultimate, obviously the Fiend's Grip, 5 full seconds of lockdown. Nightmare, very, very strong. It brings him the double crowd control, and of course the Enfeeble is strong to reduce the attack damage of the heroes that he's fighting. But this Alchemist, I mean, so this is probably, actually, the interesting thing, oh, Tinker as well. This is when you know that we're watching C-Dodo. Southeast Asian teams love Tinker, and they're going to put No Fear up on him in the middle. I was actually wondering what their solution to the mid was, and it will be Tinker. I wonder, though, if this will actually decrease the effectiveness of their tri-lane, because if Aaron is going to be using this Bane to stack up the Ancient camps on the Radiant side for No Fear to bring down with March of the Machines, which is sort of the common Tinker approach these days. Are we remaking? Or I think we're just getting disconnects, unfortunately. We'll sort of see what the lobby status is. Okay, we're into the game, but we are pausing because people are having disconnects. Let me check what the ping is. Ooh, no, actually ping is okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. Alright, so we're just waiting for VG to connect back up into the game. But let me talk about the lineups and then I'll talk about the heroes a little more. So, on TnC, we're going to have No Fear taking up the Tinker in the middle. The tri-lane will be composed of, oh, actually interesting, they have Plum Plum, their hard carry player, on Lone Druid. So Plum Plum will be taking up the solo hard on this Lone Druid, and then Aaron, Tushy, and Bonjourlay will be on the tri-lane with Keeper of the Light, Bane, and Phantom Lancer, respectively. Looking up towards VG, I was going to say on VG, I don't know what their lane assignments are quite yet. I'm actually not totally clear where they're going to put the Alchemist, Lina, Shadow Demon tri-lane, but it does look like it'll be FY actually up on the Lina, so Fenrir will be taking up the Shadow Demon, which means ZSMJ will fill out the tri-lane with the Alchemist, and then XTT will take up the solo lane, whatever the solo lane happens to be, with that Darkseer, and CTY, of course, the Queen of Pain up in the middle. So, two interesting team compositions. Alchemist, obviously a very... okay, maybe we'll rehost. Maybe we might rehost, I guess, because everyone's ready. Okay, hang on. Sorry, folks, just 1 second. VG are reconnecting, and I've been asked to rehost if possible. Sorry, folks. We're just waiting on reconnect, so I'm trying to figure out this this situation as well. I was going to say about the tri-lane. So, VG are running SD Lina Alchemist. Now, if you go stun on Alchemist and you max the W first, then it's actually a possibility to run that as an aggressive, and you have the possibility, though perhaps not the probability, of trying to take down one of the heroes in this tri-lane. It is, however, very, very risky, because, of course, you do have the Illuminate that can come through, you have the Nightmare that can ensure that the Illuminate can hit, and Spirit Lance to slow you down. So one team brings far less stun, but more damage. The other team brings chaining stuns. So if VG were to decide to run this 3 vs 3, this could be a major, major bloodbath starting just in terms of the ability of both teams to just go for the throat and kill each other. So that's something to watch out for. If ZSMJ is more interested in the Goblin's Greed focus build, Greevil's Greed focus build, then you most likely won't see that. Like if he leaves Unstable Concoction at 1 and goes Alchemist Farmer build with Acid Spray, Greevil's Greed, then you definitely won't see that being a 3 vs 3 because that wouldn't be a viable combination. But if he goes something like Unstable Concoction max first and Greevil's Greed as secondary, then you're more likely to actually see that those stuns will land, they might be able to score kills. And I still think that the default is going to be that they have a tri-lane operating, but it is possible, I have to say, that they actually go up with the 3 vs 3. TnC, it's far more obvious. I can't imagine that they don't. Unless they're trying to dodge a potential 3 vs 3, they will most likely run the safe tri-lane and plum on this lone druid in the solo hard. We are getting some connection issues from VG right now, so... Also getting a little bit of ping spam. Seems like we're having a lot of disconnect issues for VG, actually. Might try to do a... might be able to just make a remake for the sake of... I can read about 1/5 of what's going on in chat right now. Sorry for the delay, folks. VG are having some connection issues, and I think we might be remaking anyway, but we'll be restarting in just a second. Let me talk a little more about the dynamics of this. So, adding on the Tinker, what does it mean? So they already have the Lone Druid and Phantom Lancer, which are pretty strong pushing heroes, and the Keeper of the Light, which provides a good amount of turtling and anti-push. With the Tinker, this now becomes a lineup that's almost impossible to push against, and almost impossible to reverse the pushes of. They can be anywhere, Keeper of the Light can summon them back, Lone Druid can split push, Phantom Lancer can split push, at the drop of a hat, Keeper of the Light can use his ultimate to recall them, And then, of course, Tinker, No Fear, once he's actually... Oh, actually, they've switched. So No Fear is now on the Phantom Lancer. Bonjourlet on the Tinker can just march the machines a lane, and then Boots of Travel out, and then Boots of Travel to a different lane as he wants to. So he is more or less completely free to just do whatever he wants in that respect. And that makes it possible for them to really make it hard for VG to actually counter-push or deal with that. VG have good AoE damage. Alright, we are going to remake, folks. Just literally 1 minute. I'm so sorry for these delays. I'm at least as frustrated and possibly more frustrated than you guys are. I'll keep you updated in Twitch TV chat about remaking this game. It's probably only going to be less than 2 minutes before we get started again. But I don't know because VG are also having VPN issues. I really, really apologize, folks. We'll get started as soon as is physically possible for us. Alright, folks, we're going right back into the game, so we're fine. We're good to go. Ah, yes, I was actually muted. What I was saying was I really like these lineups for TnC and VG. They present two completely different ways of looking at the game and two totally different approaches. There are days past in which maybe we would have expected ZSMJ to be on this Phantom Lancer here, but nonetheless, I'm happy that he's on the Alchemist. This sort of reflects the more killing intent that this Vichy gaming situation has. I like that it's not just a sort of going one player's traditional play style and building a team around that. It's really making a team unit that works together well and actually coordinates and is able to be on one page. And Vichy Gaming are a team that's actually always been fairly aggressive even when they have a very hard carry. Like, they're ready to go in for the kill. And so with CTY playing up on these mid-initiating high damage heroes like Queen of Pain, it makes perfect sense that they would have ZSMJ on a carry who can also bring the damage, who isn't just going to be sort of solo farming for ages. Of course, the other thing is that the GPM that an Alchemist can put out is rivaled by almost nobody. In the annals of the Dota community tab featured farmer page, Alchemist has been the featured farmer almost every week, and I think Alchemist could very well be the featured farmer in this game as well. VG, they are actually sending up 3 to the top lane, so they will have the safe lane tri-lane of Fize Lina, Fenrir's Shadow Demon, and ZSMJ's Alchemist. And this is a lane that can get kills. But actually, TnC, they're going to go for the kill right from the beginning. So some C-Dodo aggression coming out here. 4 players smoked. No Fear Phantom Lancer, Bonjour Tinker. Aaron with this Bane is going to initiate. Here comes the Nightmare. He's going to probably land it up on at least 5. Possibly Fenrir. They can't seem to decide who they want to go on. ZSMJ starts this Unstable Concoction. Fenrir taking a lot of Illuminate damage. Actually, a good defensive disruption, but I think he still got hit. He is stuck in the middle of this whole thing. Actually, will they get the first blood? No. TnC scores the first blood by killing Fenrir on the Shadow Demon. But a 1-for-1 trade-off. Illuminate throwing out just to sort of harass them. Actually, ZSMJ wants more. He is charging up his Unstable Concoction once again. They're going to go on the Tinker. Bonjour is stunned by the Unstable. Queen of Pain doing damage with C2I. Actually, they missed the Light Strike Array. That's a mistake. I'm not sure they can actually get this Tinker. Yeah, unfortunately, the Light Strike Array misses off, and so VG unable to trade 2-for-1. They do lose out on the first blood, but not the end of the world. It's a little bit of extra gold for TnC, but they do actually, VG does manage to score a kill as well. So, Phi and No Fear picking up the kills. Actually, the fact that TnC got the kill on their Phantom Lancer is a pretty big deal. It'll start them off with just a little bit of that advantage. The PL, he is actually behind on XP, though, which is interesting. Barely any experience so far for the Phantom Lancer, whereas ZSMJ is almost through level 2. So I'm not 100% sure how that happened. I think PL might have just gotten a really long-range kill, and ZSMJ was right in there, so we got more XP for the actual kill. So we do have a 3 versus 3 matchup in the top. We've got ZSMJ on the Alchemist, Fenrir and Phi, versus Aaron, Tushy, and No Fear. Then in the bottom lane, TnC has Lone Doc. Actually, did they change somebody's name? Yes, Lone Doc is Plom Plom, who is their #1 player, typically. So Lone Doc on the Lone Druid is going up against XTT's Darkseer 1-on-1. This is an interesting lane. We see this quite commonly, actually, the Lone Druid versus the Darkseer. Actually, a Light Strike Array, they're doing out the combo, but this is enough to actually kill No Fear. They probably need a couple more levels, and they need the Alchemist there to actually do that. Right now, it's just to make sure that they stay off of their... Wow, who picks off the Courier? Actually, great play by CTY there, actually making sure that the Courier dies. This is a big, big deal. This actually completely nullifies the advantage of the first blood. And Bonjour, he actually doesn't have the bottle. This was such a strong pickoff for CTY. He got the bottle, I think. Meanwhile, more action up top. ZSMJ needs to throw this out. Aaron taking a hit. Illuminate coming out on everybody. No Fear has the yes. He will get the kill. He still has Spirit Lance mana as well, so VG getting bullied a little bit here. But the flip side is still that this Tinker is going to really suffer with 2.5 minutes of no Courier. I mean, that can be very, very brutal. Like I was saying earlier, the Lone Druid versus Darkseer 1-on-1 lane will definitely have a generous amount of back and forth going on, because they're two heroes that if Darkseer creep cuts, he can sort of get the XP advantage, but Lone Druid, as soon as he hits level 5, can sort of get the entangle. And VG, unfortunately, not managing the lane that well. This goes all the way back into this aggressive try, and this will be some much-needed experience here. You can see that the Radiant supports were actually stuck at level 1, but this big wave push actually means that they come back up to level 2. XTT in trouble here, actually. Tinker rotates over. This is going to be a kill on XTT. The laser is enough, and a 3-to-1 lead for TnC so far, and frankly, they're looking very, very good. I mean, excellent play from them right there. Very, very impressive. Rotation from Bonjour. He had the invisibility rune. XTT just trying to creep cut, and that can put you in danger if somebody comes over and ganks. CTY, however, he is at level 4. They actually are basically at the same, because Bonjour managed to score that kill, and it was a substantial amount of XP. Tushy being hunted. They're going to pop off the Light Strike Array. Will it actually land in time? No, there's a Nightmare coming out on Phi, and the coordination from VG supports is not quite there today. They do manage to finish off the Keeper of the Light on Tushy, but unfortunately ZSMJ is just here a little bit late. He pops off the Acid Spray, but this won't be enough damage, I don't think. Aaron, he does have 2 stacks up, but ZSMJ lacks the mana for another pop-off of the Unstable Concoction, and so the Bane's going to walk away no problem, and Tushy traded off for Phi, but I'm not really feeling it so far from VG's supports. They had such excellent coordination in the last game that we watched them in. Phi and Fenrir were just absolutely perfectly playing with each other, and it's not quite happening as well in this game. They're just not getting the level of execution that we saw them at. However, there is good news. Even with his death, XTT is sort of dominating the last hits in this lane. almost as much as CTY is dominating his lane. I mean, the lack of bottle, and he actually, I think he had to buy a new one just because he didn't want to wait for the courier. CTY taking a little bit of harassment damage here. But nonetheless, just the simple fact that, ooh, actually a big rotation. Bonjour Lei is slowed down. He pops off rockets. CTY will have to give up the chase. But Fi and Fenrir might be able to secure this kill by themselves. However, Shadow Demon, he doesn't have boots. Uh-oh, Hastery for the Tinker. Good stun actually coming out. But they're going to need a little bit more. No, Tinker's going to get away. XTT is going to make this rotation. Can they actually score this kill is my question. XTT is going to do his best job. He needs to surge. They need to land. No, they didn't land Light Strike Array. Oh, these Light Strikes just not quite landing. Of course, it's very hard on a target that's moving at 522 move speed. So the rotation by VG's support's not successful. They don't manage to get much out of it at all. Tinker still, however, 4 last hits for Bonjour Lei. 4, not 40, 4. And with 24 on CTY, and the fact that this Tinker just is not going to hit his Boots of Travel in a timely fashion at all if this lane continues the way it is. So that's the good news for VG. The amount of push that would be coming out from TnC would be incredible once this Tinker gets a Boots of Travel. So the longer that they actually manage to deny it, the better they'll sort of be in that respect. However, TnC is bringing a triple threat. They have Phantom Lancer, they have Lone Druid, and they have Tinker. If Tinker takes a while to get going, it's maybe not the end of the world as long as the PL and the Lone Druid are farming well. And let's keep in mind that the PL is dominating the Alchemist in this top lane. This Grievel's Greed so far has done almost nothing for ZSMJ because he only has 6 last hits and 4 denies to the 24 and 9 of No Fear. So VG, maybe they weren't expecting the aggressive try coming out of TnC, because I really thought that TnC would run this safe lane tri lane. But they've actually decided to get right up in VG's faces right from the beginning with that Smoke First Blood, and that's actually given them a substantial advantage. VG are not managing the lane position that well. They rotated the supports over, but didn't actually manage to successfully score a kill. And just in general, I honestly feel like VG have the TnC have the better of the game right now. So if you're VG, I don't think you can necessarily afford to rotate your supports over anymore. I think you have to focus on trying to protect ZSMJ enough that he manages to get his farm in the top lane here. Meanwhile, No Fear once again sort of penetrating into the jungle. We do have the Keeper of the Light Illuminate just sort of getting them that more XP, and actually the XP situation is really flattening itself out as far as the supports go. You do see both Radiant supports, Atushi and Aaron, both at level 3, so they've caught all the way up to Fenrir. Fi is still 1 level ahead, but VG's supports have sort of been trying to rotate and generate opportunities, and what that means is that they just aren't getting the levels either. I mean, they're not getting levels really any faster than the supports of No Fear are. ZSMJ, he has been left completely. Actually, a Shadow Demon disruption goes out. They will land the Light Strike follow-up, and with Unstable Concoction, this will be enough for the kill, but ZSMJ is copping a ton of damage. Will Spirit Lance be enough to end it? It might just be. He's at 19. 1 Keeper Light auto attack. What an absolutely excellent Light Strike Array. Right when they needed it most, it comes through. CTY rotating over, XTT rotating over. 4 players here. 2 kills picked up for VG. No Fear will make it out, so the Phantom Lancer lives. But more importantly, the Alchemist lives. Wow. Excellent play from VG there. All of a sudden, the coordination once again there. CTY making it over. ZSMJ was in a absolute... He could not have been in more trouble there. He was at 19 hit points. 1 auto attack from Keeper of the Light would have been enough. And actually, ultimate being thrown out from CTY into Lone Dock, and he gets survived. Plom Plom will go down. CTY playing excellently here. Just when I expected him to be top trying to go for these kills, he immediately TP's bot with his DD rune still on. Comes down and kills Lone Dock very, very quickly, and that means that 2 cores of TnC's lineup are not farming nearly as well as they could be. They're not getting that development. Tinker is still 13 last hits, 350 gold plus his Boots of Travel. This will not be the... Sorry, plus his Boots of Speed. This will not be the world's fastest Boots of Travel, or even anything even closely approximating it. So top lane, looking a little bit better for VG now. They did manage to score enough kills there that this evened it out slightly. The problem still is that ZSMJ is just being constantly harassed by No Fear's Spirit Lance. Now that he has Alchemist Ultimate, this is actually good news because it gives him very, very good health regen. This will somewhat balance out the damage from at least one of the spells that TnC's tri-lane is packing in this lane. But nonetheless, TnC are still very, very dangerous, and they could make a lot happen. And the Alchemist isn't farming isn't very good either, of course. You do really want that Alchemist to farm as quickly as humanly possible. XTT, meanwhile, doing very, very well bottom lane. This is 55 lane last hits. It's not just like he's jungling. He's been in lane the whole time. And so this Darkseer is going to develop very, very quickly, be able to score those critical team fight items. So once he sort of gets up to that mechanism, which we will see him build out, I think this Ring of Regen is the beginning of that mechanism. We're going to see him building out some, like, items like Mechanism, maybe Pipe later, because there's a lot of magic damage that comes out from this team, and that'll be very useful. Meanwhile, VG warding up. Actually, this ward will not spot them out because it's an observer and they're smoked. Tinker, actually, Bonjour Lay is rotating, and I'm not sure that VG knows this. Yeah, they think that they can dive, but they actually can't. Meanwhile, TnC, they have a ward here. They spot out ZSMJ, and so I don't know what's actually the dynamic of this. The smoke actually runs out on Fenrir. F5 still has it running, so actually I think Fenrir actually broke it. But nonetheless, they are going in, so TnC know that ZSMJ is alone here. He does spot it out when they walk over the sentry ward. He has got to truck the heck out of here. He does have his Alchemist movement speed. That moves him up to 375, and ZSMJ is safe. Still not farming well, but at least safe. Fi and Fenrir just still looking for that kill and still not really able to find it out. They've gone on a long sojourn here, but Tinker had just made his own journey to leave the lane. Yeah, they ping him out. They finally see that he's top. And it's 4 versus 1 up here. ZSMJ, he's being careful, but I think he might need to be even more careful. He's in a lot of trouble here if TnC decide to put the pressure on. And they are ganging up on him. Aaron will come in. This Courier's in a bit of trouble. No, it's got the haste, so it'll make it out. It does not actually, it's going to deliver Hedros to Darkseer. ZSMJ is in so much trouble. He's taking massive amounts of damage. No fear on the next Spirit Lance will probably score this kill. ZSMJ, he tosses out the stun. He is actually still alive, but no. The Bane Brain Sap is enough. I mean, 4 versus 1 up here. VG just sort of realizing that there's no way that that carry can stay alive, and so they kind of leave ZSMJ to his own devices while they try to fend off TnC by getting these free towers here. So, 1 free tower. CTY, actually, where does he get that kill? Oh, bottom. He actually picks up the kill on Lone Druid. So, probably 2 towers, and actually, 2 towers for an underdeveloped Alchemist isn't the end of the world if they do manage to bring this bottom tower down. However, TnC are probably going to pick up 1 tower, so it's more like 1 tower and 1 kill versus 2 towers and 1 kill. So actually, a good trade for VG in the abstract, but realistically speaking, the fact that this Alchemist has no farm is a serious problem. Oh, 3 seconds left on his stun. ZSMJ actually charges up the stun, TPs, and then pops it off, but unfortunately, there's not enough follow-up from his team to actually do anything with it. But an interesting choice made there, definitely. No Fear, meanwhile, looking to continue to play aggressively. In fact, Tushy is coming up as well. There goes the Spirit Lance onto Fenrir. He's taking a lot of damage. He's probably going to have to Disruption himself. He doesn't even get a chance to. That's a big mistake. The fact that this Disruption didn't do much of anything. Lone Dock is up here. This is going from bad to worse for VG. Fi's going to get taken down. ZSMJ's got to truck out of here, but CTY is in. He doesn't have ultimate, however. He only has a couple Screams of Pain. ZSMJ is going to walk away. He does get Spirit Lance. It looks like they may bring the Alchemist down again, bringing him to 2 deaths. He keeps running. He has ultimate in 1 second. He pops it off. This gives him movement speed. Not enough. Fenrir is here, but it's a little bit late. CTY in the back, picking off the Keeper of the Light, but that was probably most of his mana. In fact, TnC may actually rotate to attempt to pick off this Queen of Pain. What an excellent blink. Well-timed blink by CTY, avoiding any sort of nightmare play from the Bane, who actually didn't have the mana for it anyway. But still, very, very good. I think he would have dodged it even if Bane had tried to cast just because of the long cast time. But still, 8-7 TnC, and this game has a lot of action. CTY trying to just harass No Fear out a little bit. Of course, he doesn't have detection, so they have detection down here, but they got unlucky because they just... I mean, they didn't get unlucky. I think No Fear guessed that they might have a sentry here, so he actually retreats through this way rather than this way, which would have been much, much, much worse. So, tower down in the top for VG, but 2 towers down for TnC, and I mentioned that TnC have the vast superiority in pushing, but the deficit in team fighting. So far, it's almost looked like the opposite. VG have put a lot more pressure on towers, and TnC have been really just unstoppable in these fights. They've been really putting VG under immense pressure to actually get anything done. So ZSMJ, he finally, the departure of these heroes from this area has given him just a little bit more room to actually get his farm, and he's got to be very, very happy about this. I mean, the fact that he's able to get a little bit of gold on this Alchemist, actually start to build up some of his core items, will be critical for him. VG just counter-pushing a tiny bit here. This Queen of Pain is building Orchid Malevolence, and she's going to get it very quickly. Orchid, of course, excellent against Tinker. In fact, pretty much critical against Tinker. It's also quite a good item against Bane. and Keeper of the Light. And no slouch against Phantom Lancer either if he's not able to cast his Spirit Lance or his Doppelwalk. Early on, before he has lots of ranks of Juxtapose, those are his main method of generating illusions. And so, consequently, if he's silenced, he can't really generate nearly as many illusions until he gets a lot of agi, until he's able to just auto-attack his way to victory. So, decent item against a lot. ZSMJ actually charging up his stun, but he's got to get all the way over here. Actually, this might run out. He doesn't pop it off. It is going to stun him. And this won't be a kill. Actually, maybe it will be with the Soul Catcher. The Lina actually, Fi sacrificing himself to just bring that Tinker down. That's actually somewhat smart because the Tinker is a more important target than the Lina. So, Fi, very, very bold play. Will XDT get entangled here? This is a big deal. He has 1 second left. He needs to surge. Okay, the bear will not get the hit. CTY throwing out this Sonic Wave, but it just hits on Aeron. They might not be the smartest idea to keep this fight going. 2 stunned! Excellent stun coming out from ZSMJ. Whenever your unstable concoction is an AoE, that's a huge deal. XTT once again getting harassed hard though. He's going to have to surge out of here. And so 2 kills for VG again. They just lose the Lina and they trade it off for Lone Druid and Tinker. So every time that there's a kill trade, VG are getting the best of it. And the only times that they're really losing are when they just convincingly lose the fight. And this is another tower. Tinker, meanwhile, he does finish his Boots of Travel, so in that respect, Bonjour Lay, despite all the pressure, has had a decent game, because 14.5-minute Boots is not nearly when you sort of want it, but it's good enough. And it's good enough to sort of start this push going from here on out. Lone Druid, Phantom Lancer, Tinker. That's a lot of push. Fi just getting up some levels in the middle. That Laguna Blade was actually key there. Check out this damage-focused approach here. Just making sure that he has the maximum, the Dragon Slay, which has a longer range of AoE. Even though it's the same damage at rank 4 as the Light Strike Array is, it's actually more damage effectively, because if you can land 3 or 4 people with it, it's easier to land 3 or 4 people with it than it is to land them on a, with a Light Strike. So 4 in the Light Strike, sorry, 4 in the Dragon Slave, 2 in the Light Strike, and of course he has his Laguna, which let him actually pick off Tinker. Unfortunately, it didn't delay Tinker's Boots of Travel. He had actually had the money by then. But still, I mean, they traded off 2 cores for support in that situation, and so very, very good play. Honestly, CTY also having a great game. Oh no, but there, just as I say that, he gets way too hype. He drops to 5-1-1. I was about to mention that he hadn't died, that he was only taking good fights. But Bane hanging out just outside of Vision, and Vision is so important sometimes. You have Queen of Pain here, coming in onto this Tinker, and so her line of vision is essentially like this, and Bane is here. So she blinks here, and immediately there's a Fiend's Grip, unfortunately getting that Queen of Pain down very quickly. So CTY just continuing to try to extend his streak, and unfortunately getting slapped down for it. Meanwhile, XTT, his farm has been so good that in addition to getting the mechanism, he's also picked up a Vanguard. So this will make this Darkseer very tanky against Phantom Lancer and Lone Druid early. Fi and Fenrir looking for a gank. They are smoked up, but there's going to be a counter gank going on here. This is actually, could be a disaster for VG. Fenrir already in trouble. Fi's going to toss out the Light Strike. That's really good. Laguna Blade comes out, but they don't have enough damage. Aeron is still up. The wall is down. Lina down. They may kill Aeron, but they may actually not. Fenrir is actually diffuseled up. No Fear farming quite well. Finish that off. And 2 quick deaths for VG, just trying to pierce in there without really having vision or understanding what was going on the map. And TnC, a smart rotation, well played by them, actually extending their lead to about 3 kills. Keep in mind, this Phantom Lancer is farming just so much better than this Alchemist has so far. No Fear has his Diffusal 1. He's 5-0-4. I mean, he's having an even better game than CTY is. CTY is 5-1-1. He has 6 teamfight participation. This Phantom Lancer is the second biggest farmer on the map, a little bit, just basically the same as CTY, and he's been part of 3/4 of his team's kills. I mean, just a remarkable game from No Fear so far. I'm really, really impressed, and consequently, actually a Vanguard on Alchemist, so VG really not feeling confident that they can take these team fights without more tankiness on their heroes. It's so rare these days that you see 2 Vanguards on the same team. Sometimes you don't even see 1 Vanguard. Actually, a big fight. Stun coming out on No Fear. That PL will drop in an instant. ZSMJ unfortunately does stun himself with the Unstable Concoction. It looks like Lone Druid Plom is going to make it out. CTY trying for more kills. Aeron's in a lot of trouble here. I think they'll probably pick him up. Excellent Light Strike Array coming out from FY. And Queen of Pain actually somehow manages to pick up the kill, even though I really thought that was Lina was actually going to steal that one out. So, nice play by VG. TnC finally feeling confident that they can push into the towers, and VG just says, actually, no, we do have a ton of damage, we can deal immense amounts of magic to you, we can stun you, and actually, great play by CTY there, picking off Tinker with the Sonic Wave. This Orchid is critical for them, it's so much damage. On top of that Sonic Wave, 30% extra for a Scream, Sonic Wave, Dagger, Scream combo is just an immense quantity of damage that right now Bonjour Relay still can't live through. He pops off Haste Rune. Can he actually kill Plum Plum as well? That would be insane. He's going to try. Orchid is out. Another Entangle though, and he's not gonna, this isn't gonna happen. He needs more mana and he doesn't quite have it. Yeah, CTY decides to peel off. He just wanted to harass Plum Plum out of the lane, and he successfully does so. This Lone Druid, he does have Phase. It looks like Armlet next. So the very, very standard Lone Druid build these days. I can't remember the last time I saw a Radiance. Actually, I think it was last week, but still. Radiance definitely phased out more or less. Mjolnir usually only coming after the Armlet. It's all about the Armlet these days. The Bulldog build. I mean, not just Bulldog innovating it, but definitely becoming ubiquitous in the world right now. Excuse me. So, let's talk about Tinker for a second. He has his Soul Ring, he has his Bottle, and he has Boots of Travel. This is the key to Tinker. I mean, this is everything that you want. His farm wasn't great. He especially got denied very bad early. But he's in there now. He has 1,500 gold. He's going to build something like a Scythe of Vice, which would be absolutely excellent for him. ZSMJ is, it looks like, building either Lincoln Sphere or Battle Fury. I actually suspect this is a Battle Fury. We've seen a lot more Battle Fury Alchemists lately, which is interesting. It wasn't really a favored build on him for a while, but it does accelerate his farming rate even more past what it would already be. What usually happens is that a team will actually stack the... Yeah, or actually, I thought we had a stack. No, a team will... Sometimes teams will stack the neutral camps so that the Alchemist actually is able to get all that. It looks like Lone Doc will make it out of this. Good, actually, poise from him to TP out as soon as he possibly could. So, the Battle Fury, especially if your team stacks up jungle camps for you, can actually make sure that you just farm at an incredibly accelerated rate. Which is very, very good. Actually interesting, that Acid Spray didn't last hit any of the creeps in this area. That would have been good for him. But yeah, I think he's going to make Battle Fury. Lincoln's is an option, but it wouldn't actually be useful against that much. Well, no, that's not true. Lincoln's would be good because it could stop Fiend's Grip, potentially Enfeeble, and Laser from the Tinker, but I don't think... I think ZSMJ is more likely to go to the Battle Fury. It'll help him catch up on farm. The thing about Alchemist is his advantage against PL is that he's able to farm up earlier. But he needs to actually be able to do that, and because ZSMJ had this slow start that he is making up for, he's going to need to farm very, very hard indeed. Of course, the other thing about the Battle Fury is it's quite good against illusions in its own right. It will give their primary farmer an AoE damage ability, essentially, and it'll let him bring down those illusions much, much more quickly than if he had to single target them all down in a row. The more traditional AoE item for Alchemist is, of course, Mjolnir, because it gives you attack speed, but we may very well see ZSMJ go for Mjolnir anyway. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see them just pick up the Mjolnir if he wants to, on top of the Battle Fury. It would give him even more AoE, even more attack speed. So, taking stock of where the game is at right now, we are actually tied on kills. Early on, we just had kills and fights all over the map, but we have slowed down a bit. Both teams content to sort of build up some more core items. The thing is, VG, it seems like in a vacuum, are just a little bit better at farming. You can see that they feel very confident because they have this massive vision advantage. TnC has no idea what's going on in VG's jungle, whereas VG has an extremely good idea of what's going on in TnC's jungle. So consequently, I think VG feel very, very safe, and as long as they want to farm, they feel safe that they can do so. And so ZSMJ will continue building towards that Battle Fury. Yeah, there we are. And that'll sort of give him the position that he wants. TnC's farm, meanwhile, has substantially slowed down. We do have the PL building well. He has his Yasha. I don't know if this is going to be pure Manta or if they're going to build the Heart first and then finish off the Manta. But either way, this is a good position for PL to be in with the Diffusal and the Yasha at 22 minutes. Not bad at all. Meanwhile, Armlet complete on the Spirit Bear. We do actually see another Gloves of Haste, so it's most likely going to be Armlet into Mjolnir. So that's going to give them AoE damage as well, and they will be no slouch as far as damage goes. Fi on VG, meanwhile, he is building towards this Force Staff for Lina. Also potentially Yules, but I would expect to see a Force Staff, frankly. Fenrir, of course, he's doing all the wards. He's a little bit soy sauce. He does have the Bracer, so that's substantially better than just having wands, but now we sort of see the ward fights come out. TnC wants to resolve their issue with vision, and so there is massive counter warding going on in this jungle. They've counter warded the ward here, they've counter warded the ward here and here, so that's 3 wards brought down by TnC. Unfortunately, the one ward they didn't bring down, the one place they don't have vision, is the Roche pit, and I think they're actually going to give away a free Roche right now, and this is actually a pretty big deal. If TnC don't rotate to this could be Roche for ZSMJ, and that will make them feel a lot more comfortable about their position. Wow, yes, they do give it away. They're actually going to put it on CTY, not ZSMJ, and in retrospect, I really like this choice. I love that they're getting the Roshan for the hero that always sort of initiates, that always does the damage. We saw this happen earlier when CTY actually picked up the Roshan for his Templar Assassin in a game where ZSMJ was either Juggernaut or Lifestealer, because CTY is the one that goes ball to the wall aggressive. Actually, if he spots out Bonjourlé here, this could be a kill. The Scream does not hit. I think Bonjourlé is actually safe. He blinks over here, and he's completely safe. He's okay. We did actually see the Han ping there, but it's okay. Alright, CTY. I think he will probably build towards Sheepstick, although Lincoln's is an option for him as well. But I just don't think you build Lincoln's unless you have an incredibly compelling reason to do so. This will most likely be an Scythe of Vice, which will give him, frankly, quite a bit of crowd control. The pseudo-disable with the Orchid Malevolence, the full disable with the Scythe of Vice, and it looks like we might have a fight on our hands mid. No. TnC decide to pull back because VG just rotates too many people over. Cuirass being built on this Alchemist, I love this. It'll give them the attack speed that he wasn't getting from the Battle Fury. So he'll have damage, he'll have armor, and he'll have cleave. That's really all that he wants, and I think all that he more or less needs. He'll feel very, very good once he actually picks up that item. VG just farming very well, but actually a word has to be said. I mentioned a couple minutes ago that PL wasn't farming quite as well as he was earlier. He's sped that up substantially. He's amassed 20 more last hits in the last 2 or 3 minutes, and he's building very, very quickly towards his Manta if he wants it. And I think Manta would be good for him in this situation. VG, meanwhile, they want to put the screws on a little bit. They control sort of the mid-region. CTY is still holding on to that Aegis of the Immortal, and consequently they feel confident here. ZSMJ farming way up, just using Battle Fury to bring these creeps down. And if we look at gold per minute, he is finally climbing into the upper echelons. ZSMJ had one of the slowest starts you can have as a carry because of the heavy pressure put on him by a strong Trilade coming out from TnC. And now he is matching pound for pound No Fear's farm. This will change. I think ZSMJ will start to take the farm advantage against that Phantom Lancer. The flip side is PL needs more farm to be effective. Sorry, Alchemist needs to be ahead on farm to be effective versus a PL. If they're at equal farm, the PL is much stronger because he's simply a harder carry than Alchemist is. If Alchemist is ahead, then Alchemist can sort of get the advantage. ZSMJ will definitely be looking to build up this Cuirass as quickly as possible. I like that he's building the armor first just to defend himself, particularly against the Lone Druid and the PL illusions. So at this point, this game could easily swing either way, and I have no idea who's going to actually take this out. CTY, let's word out, he has the highest GPM in the game. I mean, he has 7 kills, he finished off the Orchid, he's going to have his Scythe of Vice very soon, and if I were VG, I would actually consider using that Scythe to try to make something happen. Once again, a Haste Rune, they've been trying to catch out this Tinker, but Bonjourlé just playing very effective keep away. He built up his Blink Dagger already, which is going to make it so difficult to actually find and kill him, even with Haste Rune. You can see CTY hunting, but how can they possibly pick off this Tinker? TnC, now that they have the Tinker Booster, actually, Bonjourlé jumping in here. CTY knows where he is, or does he? He doesn't actually see him. I think he knows that he's close, but wow. Darkseer Blink as well. These are interesting builds coming out. We have Darkseer finishing off his Blink, Force Staff done on FY. Fenrir still with the Urn of Shadows. This will actually help give them a little bit more healing power. But just this Blink on Darkseer, this is an attempt to chase Tinker. That's what they want. If they have 2 blinkers, they can try to vacuum. Right, they can try to do what they did there. Unfortunately, Bonjourlé is already in the south here. He can just lead them on a merry chase. So we are going to have a lot of cat and mouse play. They're definitely going to try to just avoid VG as much as possible, and especially avoid CTY. The thing about VG, I think they're just using Aegis as insurance. So this Aegis is up for about 2 more minutes. So that means that probably I don't think they're going to make a big push during that time because they would have to start it now, otherwise they would risk losing CTY. The one thing is, if he buys out for his Sheepstick right now, if he gets that Scythe of Vice, they could push immediately after Sheepstick and still feel comfortable because the Aegis still has time on it. But if they don't push in the next 30 seconds, I think we'll actually see VG wait for the next Roshan. Because again, they want to get ZSMJ in the picture. They want to add more items onto this Alchemist before they try to make anything really, really big happen. I think they could potentially go for a tier 2. What they could go for is a base defense. I think we could see the next engagement occurring at the tier 1 middle, which we do see TnC sort of making intimations of pushing towards. The Lone Druid Bear starts, I mean, you can see Battle Cry plus Demolish. This bear, with an armlet, destroys towers just as fast, if not faster, than a Leshrac does. Maybe not quite as fast, but it's close, it's in the neighborhood. And so a completely uncontested tower, actually. VG just deciding that they'd rather not risk a big team fight in that situation right now. No Fear is actually down here. Do they have detection from Lightstrike Array Lance? He's taking a ton of damage. The Laguna Blade will pick him off. No Fear just getting caught out once again. TnC's vision of the map is really suffering. They know the middle, but they have no idea what goes on this side, and so Phantom Lancer gets completely caught out. What a mistake! Losing the PL is critical here. Oh dear, CTY is just going to push right through. They're probably going to take this middle tower. Illuminate comes through. It deals a lot of damage, but I don't think TnC actually have what it takes to defend this tower. The creeps are down. The catapult is still up. But I think they will probably get this defensive disruption. Actually, a good fortify. This might re-trigger backdoor? No, it won't, because the catapult's still up. Oh, good, actually. The illusions. Wow, Fenrir's defensive disruption is so smart. Smarter than I even realized. C2 actually taking a ton of damage. He could get taken down if the Tinker finishes his teleport. No, he doesn't. Alright. CTY will be fine. Scythe of Vice is done. 1,800 gold on top of it. They're actually chasing ZSMJ. If an Entangle lands here, this could be trouble. He's got to pop this ultimate. Tinker is Boots of Traveling onto the Lone Druid Bear. No. They don't chase. And so VG right now looking very crisp, and they need to be crisp. They absolutely need to be able to actually get that going. And if they don't, I mean, they could be in a lot of trouble. PSA, apparently there is going to actually be a gaming mouse giveaway on our Raidcall channel. So if you want to check that out, go to Raidcall channel 2013. So just a quick shout out to that, because Raidcall is our primary sponsor for this tournament, folks. They've been fantastic to us so far, and we're hoping to do a lot more giveaways through the course of the tournament as well. I figured that since we have a tiny bit of a pause in the action, you guys will accept a tiny amount of shilling on behalf of our sponsors. Anyway. This game has gone from, at the beginning, extremely sort of dangerous and tense just in terms of massive killing from both teams, to tense in the exact opposite way. Both teams trying to find safe farm, trying to make sure they build up their heroes. Fenrir here, you see him trying to make sure that the Shadow Demon is just a little bit less just like soy sauce. He's added this Arcane Boots. He's actually looking a lot healthier than the last time we saw him. Bracer, Urn, Arcane Boots gives him decent stats. It gives the mana regen, sort of, with the mana boost from the Arcane Boots, and he's just going to be a lot more survivable, which is fantastic for him. Fi, meanwhile, who has had another strong support game on this Lina with some great light strikes, actually is doing very well. He's got this Aghanim building with this point booster, and Ags could be very critical for him. Actually, Bonjour Levy wants a fight, but so does Fi. Fi feels good about this. He's going to... Yes! Major overextension by Tinker, and TnC, I feel like they're getting frustrated, but they should... I think they should just calm down. They should just know that they have a PL, they can do a lot of push. VG can't really contest their push in the long term, but I feel like they're just getting frustrated and going for kills when maybe they shouldn't. What I do like is this push. I like them pushing. I like them bringing this tower down. VG do fortify, so I don't know if they're trying to go for it. Here comes the teleport. Alchemist is coming in. The stun comes out. The Vac does not quite get an AoE stun, but a Lone Druid Illusion is on the field. Aaron already getting taken down. Lone Doc wants to get out. He does manage to. Tushy is TPing out as well. If they don't catch him out, they actually got barely anything from this. A buyback from Tinker. I don't know why he wants to come in. That seems like a very bad idea. ZSMJ will stun himself because all of the heroes from TnC are out of here. So VG, a very competent base defense, but not spectacular. If XTT had vacuumed into the Unstable Concoction, that might have been a wipe for TnC right there, but unfortunately, the time synchronization on that is very difficult, especially maybe if you have a tiny bit of lag, and consequently they don't manage to land off the Unstable Concoction. They pick off Aaron and they defend the tower, which is no small thing, but they don't manage to pick off Plum Plum on the Lone Druid, they don't manage to get the Phantom Lancer for no fear, and just in general, I think they wanted more from that than they got. The good news? Phantom Lancer Manta. He doesn't quite have heart yet, so TnC don't feel safe, I feel like, on this Phantom Lancer until he actually picks up that heart. But he is still doing well on farm. 207 last hits. If we look towards the GPM, he has fallen behind Alchemist, but that's more or less an inevitability. I mean, they're not going to stay ahead on farm on a PL for an Alchemist. What they hope for is that the PL will be undeal-withable anyway. Still this cat-and-mouse game between CTY and Bonjour Levy. I love watching this. Just the Tinker trying desperately to stay away from the Queen of Pain, and the Queen of Pain trying desperately to hunt down that Tinker. Fascinating game there, and of course, the Blink from the Darkseer is also really just a contra that Tinker. Blink on Darkseer is useful in almost all situations, but especially if you can sort of catch a slippery hero with it. And the idea is that they'll be able to catch Tinker. They haven't really done it so far. All the kills on the Tinker have come out mostly from CTY damage, occasionally with help from Phi. But they've done well for themselves so far. Let's take a look at the net worth. We do have Phantom Lancer as the highest for TnC, and Lone Druid bringing up just around where XTT is at on this Darkseer. But unfortunately, Bonjour Lei, he's just still doesn't really have that much. I would really look to see the Scythe of Vice from this Tinker as a big game changer for TnC. They need to be able to lock down more heroes on VG, or they're going to have difficulty in these team fights. I would also love a pipe from somebody, even if it's on the Lone Druid. I really feel like VG's magic damage makes it almost necessary for your team to get a pipe if you're not going to get BKBs, which I don't think they will. I would love a pipe. Here comes the Lone Druid Bear. Here comes the Tinker. Boots are traveling onto this bear. This is going to be... Oh no, he cancels it. He cancels the TP. Actually, this could be a huge mistake. They're going to fight this out. The Roshan goes down. Queen of Pain picks it up. CTY actually losing the Aegis immediately. XVT taking a lot of damage. ZSMJ fighting for his life here, but he is chain entangled. He does actually get defensive disrupted. VG are going to try to flee. Good Illuminate there. Actually, Tushy manages to take down ZSMJ, who buys back immediately. A dominating streak for CTY. Phi is completely out of mana. No Fear is going to pick up another kill. There's the Entangle. This is going quite badly for VG, I feel, actually. But nonetheless, Bonjour Lei gets picked off from the back. CTY is just very, very dangerous. He's still at full mana. He still has Sonic Wave. Can he actually chase is the question. The answer is probably no. So an interesting fight. In the end, I think I was wrong when I said in the middle that it wasn't going that well for VG, because TnC, in the end, just didn't feel like they could pursue. And as a result, they lose Bonjour Lei again. He's even farther away from this critical Scythe. CTY, he doesn't manage to hold on to the Aegis, but he doesn't manage to die either. VG's main loss from that was that ZSMJ now has a buyback cooldown. The buyback money is not actually a big deal to this Alchemist. With Enfeeble, he's actually doing pretty low damage, but still sizable. I was going to say that the buyback money is not that relevant, because you can farm that right up. If you have buyback on Alchemist and you buy back, you can make back the money you spent on it extremely quickly. So that's not a problem. The problem is the fact that you have a cooldown. But I want to really quickly talk about this item on CTY that he built after Scythe of Vice. I talked in the beginning of this game about how CTY plays a very, very aggressive style. So that's why they sort of moved him to mid. He sort of always played way too aggressively on carries, and the team was like, dude, you have to calm down on these carries. You can't just be going balls to the wall all the time because you'll die. So they switched him to mid, which is a position in which you always want to be aggressive, or almost always want to be aggressive. And just look at how aggressive he's being. I haven't seen a Mask of Madness Queen of Pain since maybe Sing Sing pubs in Europe. I mean, it's something that happens, but it's very, very rare that you actually go Mask of Madness. I mean, Queen of Pain is by nature not an auto-attack hero. She's a magic damage delivering hero. So in this case... oh my goodness. Alright. We've got it. We have a dual hard carry lineup on VG. We are building the Chrysalis into Daedalus on the Queen of Pain to pair up with this Mask of Madness. And this is no joke, guys. Queen of Pain has pretty decent auto-attack damage to begin with, and he does have the Orchid to raise his damage. He has the Scythe of Vice to disable his target. This is actually going to be a Queen of Pain that deals a lot of auto-attack. I don't know that this is necessarily the best items he could be building, but they're definitely among the most fun items that he could be building. So, VG, I mean, I guess they're feeling pretty good about this game. ZSMJ wants to throw out a stun. Will he actually be able to catch Tushy? The Unstable Concoction does go out, but they're just going to retreat. The only reason he was running up was to make sure that cast actually got off, and I honestly don't blame him. I mean, I think this is smart. Illusion. Items. Phi, He's still, he just has the casual point booster so far. This could become a Bloodstone, but I think more likely it's probably going to be that Aghanim Scepter to throw out even more damage. You still see no indication of a pipe being built on TnC, which I don't like. I really think that a pipe would be good. It looks like Bane is either building... Actually, that's probably Heaven's Halberd, although it could be BKB. It's one of those two, definitely. But still, there is a headdress on the Keeper of the Light. This could be Mechanism, it could be Pipe. The fact that it's 38 minutes, I think, would actually suggest that they should not even bother with the Mechanism, or at the very least, they shouldn't bother with it right now. If I were TnC, I would worry about that Pipe much more than I worry about the Mechanism. ZSMJ is in perfect equipoise with this. Okay, yeah, he does break through the backdoor protection, which I'm not sure why it was on, because there were creeps, but... Nonetheless, ZSMJ takes another tower. He's building his crit as well. You're going to have two players who crit. And that's honestly, frankly, a lot of damage. He still doesn't. His AoE is still focused on Battle Fury, so we might not even see ZSMJ go for the Mjolnir, or if he goes for it, it might be later. I think Shiva's is done on XTT as well, or I thought he was building towards Shiva's. I don't know where it is. Okay, so he does have the Shiva's. This is great. I like VG's items, except for maybe CTY's items, because it seems like they're focusing on making sure that Phantom Lancer gets brought down. We are heading into the 40th minute of this game. If you don't have a plan for dealing with this Phantom Lancer, you don't have a plan to win. And so VG's plan is, we have the AoE. We have Shiva's to slow everybody down and do quite a bit of AoE damage, and we have the Alchemist Battle Fury, and of course Queen of Pain deals good AoE magic damage. And then their theory for dealing with the Lone Druid, the Tinker, and everybody else is just massive auto-attack damage. You see that the Daedalus is actually complete on Queen of Pain. So those are big crits. Soon it'll be complete on ZSMJ as well, which will be even more damage. TnC, I just feel like their item development is not quite at the same level. Linken's for Phantom Lancer is good, but it's no heart, and he may well need a heart just to survive these fights. They don't have the Cuirass on Lone Druid, and in fact, Plum Plum isn't even that close to it. He's about halfway. So... not that close to the Cuirass. VG, of course, has had a Cuirass for quite a long time. They don't have a mechanism. VG has a mechanism. They need a pipe very badly, but Tushy, I mean, it's going to take him a while to build up that pipe. If he's actually making mechanism now, it's going to take him ages to get that pipe. So I just don't know that TnC feel comfortable about their items here, and that's why they're playing so defensively. That's sort of why you see TnC just say, okay, we'll let the game slow down, we'll make sure that No Fear gets all the farm he needs, and we'll try to get these other critical items. I am interested very much in what Aaron is building. Actually, no, we do get a continuation. They find out Tushy on this Keeper of the Light. This actually is not that important of a kill. Keeper of the Light is going to be up in 25 seconds. I don't know what VG can actually do with this, other than continue the pressure, other than continue their map control, and make sure that TnC can't exit this tiny area. Keep in mind, ooh, actually an Entangle goes down on ZSMJ. They're just harassing, I think. I don't know if they can actually take an entire fight. Will they continue the pressure is my question. No. It looks like they won't. Alright. TnC, they're just trying to sort of get the map back. Because for a while, Bonjour Lay hasn't even really been able to escape this quartile of the map. And that's a problem. You want your Tinker to be generating pressure. You want this team to be sort of generating space for themselves by pushing, by sort of putting a lot of pressure on each of the towers, making sure that they push in on each lane, and really keeping VG off your back. And in the last 5 to 10 minutes, TnC haven't been able to do that at all. They've been pushed in, they've been under a lot of pressure from VG, and consequently, VG are able to get more gold just by having more of the map to farm. If we actually look at the gold advantage, it's actually 25,000. So we see a 4-kill differential, but the fact that VG have so much more of the farm to actually, you know, farm, means that they're getting more and more gold equity out of this. Now, the thing is, eventually ZSMJ will be max, and then the effectiveness of the Alchemist will be effectively capped out. Actually, where was the kill? In the back here. I missed another kill, actually. Sorry, folks. FY, we haven't had a kill in so long that I sort of forgot how they look. Good blink in by Bonjour Lay here. Actually, Fenrir manages to get a disruption, so he lives for a bit, but he has his blink down. He blinks out! Wow, using that gold advantage, they're going to turn this around. CTY is right on top of Lone Dock. This is massive Queen of Pain damage. Tinker throwing out some rockets. Actually, Lone Dock just has too much HP. Will they vacuum? No, he cancels his TP. Why did he cancel his TP? Oh, that's a huge kill. He does not have buyback. ZSMJ getting a pick off. Keeper of the Light down. Plum Plum on the floor. VG are going to push. Do they know that Plum doesn't have buyback, this is a big deal. The fact that he just bought out, oh no, I don't know why he canceled his TP there. There wasn't a vacuum, I don't think. Scythe of Vice finally finished on Bonjour Lay. They have to make the best defense they can, or they have to just decide to give up one lane of Rax. Oh, I don't know about this. I think VG are absolutely going to push. That was huge, that turnaround. The fact, again, I said, they're getting more items than all their players, and Fenrir saving himself there was incredible because they turned it right around after that. That was just excellent play, and good timing with the Blink Dagger as well. You can see the jam up on Fenrir also, that just gives them the detection that they need. Here it comes, oh, good stun, good unstable concoction. Fenrir is not here for the detection for No Fear, though. Actually, where's the rest of their team? Why are they all up here? This is a bit of miscommunication, in my opinion. They really have to just push in this tower while they can. Lone Druid up in 8 seconds, and actually VG, they take the tier 2 mid. I think that was a bit of a miscommunication with their team, because ZSMJ and XTT were kind of going ham on this bottom tower, but the rest of the team were all going to the middle. I feel like they had the time before Lone Druid came up to actually do more than they did right now. TnC are going to seek to turn it around. They do sheep Fenrir. He does have a surge. He actually makes it out again. Good surge from XTT there on this Darkseer, making sure that Fenrir actually manages to get away. And VG firmly in control of this game. It's not just the gold advantage, it's the fact Fiend's Grip on it, ZSMJ, they're doing as much damage as possible. Scythe of Vice, this Alchemist will be brought down. They get the Alchemist, and that's a big deal. Does he have buyback? Yes, he does. XTT taking a lot of damage. A good fight from VG here. Sorry, from TnC. 2 down. They bring down the Darkseer. It looks like they might get Phi. Good Force Staff. He is actually up on the high ground. But 2 core heroes down for VG, and I think the push stops here. A trade-off of 2 supports for 2 cores is not what you want by any means, way, shape, or form. They're going to chase. Bonjour Lay wants to blink, but here's the thing. VG now have blinks on just about every character. Look at how mobile this team is. Fenrir, blink. Phi, Force Staff. Queen of Pain, obviously she has a skill that blinks. And Darkseer, XTT has had the blink forever. In fact, they're moving to Roshan immediately. VG don't want to be doing anything at this point to give TnC any time. They've put so much pressure on this middle and bottom tier 3 that maybe with an Aegis and a Cheese, because we do have a Cheese Roshan coming, they could get even more done. But will CTY actually end up feeding this Roche to TnC? This could be a huge mistake. Oh no, CTY is sheep. They pick him off. This was an enormous mistake by VG. Have they just thrown? I don't know if they've thrown, but this is a big deal what just happened. Picking off TnC. He doesn't have buyback. 90 seconds with no Queen of Pain. What a huge mistake trying to solo that Roshan was. This is poor intra-team communication from VG. They made 2 big errors in my estimation. First of all, not focusing one Rax when Lone Druid was down and they could have easily gotten tier 3s. Secondly, CTY basically feeding a Roshan kill and a Cheese to TnC. That's Aegis on Lone Druid, Cheese on Phantom Lancer. He doesn't have Heart. Did he buy out for Heart? He has Heart coming in. I think they should just wait for Heart. No, they're going to fight XTT. Big wall. Could this be another big throw? The huge fight is coming out. Aaron will go down. CTY still on the ground for a while, but Lone Dog taking massive damage, and we have a pause. What the hell is going on here? That was a tactical pause? I don't even know. Okay. We gotta find out what the heck is going on with these pauses. Actually, the lag looks fine to me. I'm lagging more than anybody else here is. Wow, those were really bad timings for those pauses. Oh my god. Wow. Alright, folks. Well, a bit of a tease, this team fight. Goodness gracious. But here, I think TnC should have waited for the Phantom Lancer Heart, because this could get completely turned around. There goes the Aegis, and there goes the Bear, actually. He's going to have to resummon it. Fenrir will go down. No Fear is huge. He's finally had his Heart delivered. ZSMJ trying to fight. The Unstable Concoction is actually Lincoln's away, so there's that Lincoln's coming into play there. And they're going to keep this push going. They still have 4 players up. CTY is still on the ground for 25 seconds. But this illusory wall is keeping them off for now. They can't quite come up to the high ground except for the Bear. But there goes the tier 3. Will TnC be the first team to Rax in this game? I think it's very possible. ZSMJ wants to make something happen. He pops off his ultimate again. Damage getting thrown out. Tinker actually doesn't teleport in because his creep is killed off. There's the Shivas again. Will this be Phantom Lancer? They get the Phantom Lancer kill. They're going to get the Lone Druid kill. ZSMJ is a sheep once again, a pig. They get the Rax, but in trade for a lot. TnC are taking a pounding, but they have picked up racks, and that has to mean something. There's the Tinker. 3 down. What is the buyback status? It is time to switch to buyback status for the rest of the game, folks. No buyback on Phantom Lancer. He bought out for the heart. We do have buyback on the Lone Druid. We do have buyback on Tinker. So Lone Doc and Bonjour Lay will be able to get back into the fight. But does that matter? Does it matter when you will not have your most important carry? If No Fear doesn't come for this next fight, can VG just put a huge amount of pain onto TnC? They've lost their Raxes, but we're going to see this immediately turned around. Cheese was used in that fight. Aegis was used in that fight. CTY is still on a rampage. He just finds out, actually, kind of misplaced Tushy there. I don't know why Tushy was in that particular position. VG will go bottom. This is where the tower is already down. It was just denied by Bane. VG are going to seek to Rax. It's 17 seconds until Phantom Lancer. We gotta keep an eye on that. VG pushing in, dealing an incredible amount of damage to the tower. 1 tower down, 2 towers down, and we do have a Rax trade coming out. Will VG look for more? 5 seconds for Phantom Lancer. Lone Druid, been very patient. He actually will have buyback, so he will have 2 lives. The problem is, it's really the bear that matters. VG, do they just have too much damage? They're going to go. They're going to go for the second set of racks. They're dealing incredible damage. ZSMJ has been CC'd. Excellent defensive disruption coming from Fenrir. The Fiend's Grip ends. The Sonic Wave comes through. Aaron is picked off by that Aghanim's Lina ultimate. VG, they're trying to get out here. Actually, no, they'll turn it around. ZSMJ has his unstable concoction. It's getting thrown out. No Fear is in the fight. He has his heart. He has the survivability. Second rank Diffusal Blade. They're just seeking to push. ZSMJ is just going to get this Rax. CTY will go down, but do they even care? I'm not sure that they do. They just want the Rax at this point. ZSMJ charging up the Unstable Concoction again. No Fear picking off the supports. He actually turns around. They will get the Alchemist here. Lone Doc and No Fear damaging him very, very hard. CTY buys back. Do they have buyback on ZSMJ? No, they don't. Once again, 5 versus 4 in every fight this time. Every fight. 5 one way, 4 the other way. Next time, 4 on the first side, 5 on the second side. And TnC just going to barrel up the middle again. This is mid-lane Dota, folks. Mid-lane Dota all the way. And this makes perfect sense. I think TnC are feeling the pressure to throne. The bottom and top lanes still have 2 towers each, which means that TnC could probably not get the towers down and the Raxes in time to actually get the, before ZSMJ comes back up. But they know he doesn't have buyback, or I think they have the intimation that he doesn't have buyback. So they just want to push right up the top, and they just want to get the middle, and maybe get the Ancient. If I were them, I think I might consider going for the Ancient, in fact. But can they do so? Can they actually get the Ancient, even with Alchemist out of the picture? They are pushing down mid. No, they don't feel confident enough. They're not going to go for the GG. A failure of nerve from C Dodo there, in my opinion. CTY actually gets Nightmare. Do they want to make something happen here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because, once again, the game is paused. So, we are paused. I'd take a break to drink some tea there. ZSMJ is back, but he's down for 27 more seconds. So it's basically TnC have just enough time in this pause to pick off the tier 2 top tower. Whether or not they continue into the tier 3 Raxes is going to be a question of 5v5. At that point, both teams will have everybody up. There is no buyback on Bonjour Lay, on Fenrir, on Aaron, or on CTY. They actually don't have the mana on Poplomp because he built out a Ghost Scepter. I love this. This Ghost Scepter is very strong against Carry, Queen of Pain, and obviously strong against Alchemist. But they don't quite have the buyback money for him there yet. ZSMJ, for that matter, also doesn't have buyback money. But TnC are not going to seek to GG just yet. They obviously, Alchemist is now up in 2 seconds. He is going to try to save up. Actually, we get another disconnect, so we'll probably get another pause just because we don't have Alchemist. So, we might not get a pause. They might not bother. We actually are getting a fight. I really thought the game would be paused, but Lone Dog taking a lot of damage from CTY here. I honestly don't know what the heck is going on. Alright, we do get a pause. Alright. So, interesting choice for TnC not to actually go for the GG, but they do take the tier 2 top. They feel that they have pushed, they can still win, and consequently, they don't need to sort of put an all-in. I think that maybe they weren't 100% sure about the status of ZSMJ's buyback either. So, when we resume this game, let's take a look at this bear. So it has the Assault Cuirass complete since the last time we looked at it. Orb of Venom, which is not the most relevant thing in the world. Maelstrom for AoE, and Demon Edge. I'm very interested in this Demon Edge. I think this is probably going to be an MKB, because of course, ZSMJ has added on the Butterfly to his total. An Alchemist that has Dodge, an Alchemist that manages to avoid most of your actual attacks, means that you're in very, very tough shape to actually win. So, building up the MKB on the Lone Druid and possibly building it up on the Phantom Lancer eventually as well is going to be critical to actually manage to bring down that Alk, who right now, his survivability in fights has not been amazing, but it's going to get a lot better as this Battle Fury really comes into play. So, yeah, I don't... Hopefully the pause situation will be a little bit more under control in the future. We do see Ghost Scepters being built out on TnC, and in fact, let's take a look at the overview. 3 Ghost Scepters for TnC, and I love this. I mean, when you are facing up against a Queen of Pain that has Mask of Madness, Daedalus, MKB, you're facing a lot of auto attack damage even if you don't include the Alchemist. Let's take a look at Fenrir also, who's built up a Medallion of Courage just to further reduce that armor. I mean, that means that you're going to be taking just a colossal amount of auto attack damage from this VG team. And so Ghost Scepter on your critical support heroes that are going to go down to those auto attacks quickly will keep them up long enough to try to actually manage to get something done in that fight. So I really like those Ghost Scepters. I think that's the exact right approach for them to be taking. Phantom Lancer, meanwhile, no fear. We actually don't know his next item. He has room for one more big item plus the Boots of Travel. So we're going to be looking to see what he builds out. He has 4k right now, so I think we'll see him save up a little more and then build that out. I wouldn't mind seeing something like an MKB just so that he can go toe-to-toe with that Alchemist. Obviously, Phantom Lancer, his illusions will pick up his stats but not damage, but... in this case, we've actually seen No Fear just man-fighting ZSMJ sitting on a tier 3 area. So I think it makes sense for them to actually pick up that MKB, maybe. Certainly the bear having the MKB is very, very important. Unfortunately, Aaron just hasn't been able to find anything. If we take a look at levels, this right here is a huge problem for TnC. They don't have level 3 ultimates on Bane or Keeper of the Light. Keeper of the Light's level 3 ultimate is a little less important, but Bane's level 3 ultimate is actually quite important because it gives him quite a lot more damage. It doesn't improve the duration, but they would love these heroes to be a little higher level. At this level, other than Ghost Scepter, they have essentially no survivability. And in terms of items, they have very, very little as well. You can see that they still, at this stage, don't have a mechanism or a pipe. How many fights that haven't gone their way could have, if not tilted, at least been a lot better if they actually had the items that they wanted, if they had mechanism, if they had pipe. Instead, Keeper of the Light still sitting on level 1 boots and Ghost Scepter. Bane sitting on level 1 boots and not even a Ghost Scepter. So Aaron is just going to get picked off incredibly fast in these fights. Meanwhile, VG, this is when you really see that 30,000 gold advantage come into play. Even VG's supports are fat. We've got a Blink Dagger, we've got a Medallion of Courage and an Urn on Fenrir. We've got a completed Scythe of Vice and an Aghanim Scepter and Force Staff on Phi. I mean, these are supports, but they have very, very impressive items. And the Darkseer Illusion with Aghanims is no joke either. This is their anti-PL tech. If you vacuum the PL into your wall and generate a PL illusion that deals 140% damage, that PL illusion can get more illusions, and that's a fight that can turn quickly. But nonetheless, until Roshan, VG aren't quite feeling the 100% confidence, which I think is interesting. We do see, by the way, that ZSMJ, unless he sells this Vanguard, is maxed out. He probably will sell the Vanguard eventually. It's not the greatest item to scale in the extreme late game, but interesting. XTT, I mean, another VG hero who's actually almost maxed. He's got Mechanism, Blink Dagger, Vanguard, Aghanim Scepter, Shiva's Guard, and Tranks. Tranks could be swapped out pretty soon. He could eventually get Travels there. A lot of people, I think, will get Travels. I'm looking towards... Oh, CTY just bought out. This is such a fun guy to watch. He bought out for BKB almost certainly. I like this BKB for CTY a lot. Also, they're just making... just people's magic sticks that they abandoned years ago are sitting on this. A Chase attempting to come out, but VG are still playing more or less safe. Actually, Fenrir in a bit of trouble here. Will he get caught out? He's got his Blink Dagger, but it's not up for a little bit. Surge coming out from XTT. They're going to try to get away as fast as possible, but Tinker has a blink. No, he doesn't blink the right way. They guessed wrong. They guess wrong, and they are completely safe. VG managed to get out of here with their supports. It's very important for those supports not to get picked off here. There's no buyback on Fenrir. There's no buyback at all for FY either. What did he actually build? I don't know what he built. Maybe it's just the power treads. I'm not 100% sure. The next fight looks to be Roshan. And we do have CTY actually not near it. Remember, he's bought out, but he's also maxed. He has all the items he could possibly need. And Roshan will be the venue. Roshan will be the setting for the next big fight. Both teams want it. Both teams need to have it to actually push and end the game. And so that is what they're going to seek to actually get up. ZSMJ, keep in mind, is inside of the pit. Do they know that ZSMJ is in the pit? If they think this is a standoff, but VG have already started, this could be a free Roshan for VG. No, here comes the Illuminate. This will tell them all they need to know. Here comes the Bear. Now they have a very good idea. Oh no, it's just too late. The Roshan is actually already down. Shiva's coming out. Lone Dock slowed down. They're going to vacuum. This TP isn't going to do anything. VG are on the chase. This could be a big problem for TnC. There's the Laguna, the Aghanim's Laguna. They're going to take down this Lone Druid. No Fear in the back, picking off Fenrir extremely quickly. He dies. The Shadow Demon trade actually, Aaron gone as well, and here comes the major fight. No Fear trying to fight this out, but it's him against ZSMJ, and ZSMJ is just doing tons of damage to him. Meanwhile, in the back of play, TnC are just on a full retreat. They're still trying to chase No Fear. Phantom Lancer is stealth. They don't have a good idea of where he is. He's building his butterfly to try to get some evasion up on the board. XTT, they can't find the last few kills, and so 2-for-1 trade, almost a little bit anticlimactic. No Fear is still sitting here. He doesn't, keep in mind, he doesn't have TP. They spot out the illusion. They still don't know. Actually, they do know, but he's going to take down CTY. CTY bought out for this. He has buyback, so he can get it, and No Fear might die. No Fear splits up. The Manta style coming out. ZSMJ copping a lot of damage. Actually, the Aegis is going to get taken down. TnC have completely baited VG here. CTY buys back, but VG are all over the map. ZSMJ is going to take him down. He barely has enough money to buy back. Oh my god, what a play from TnC. What an excellent, intelligent rotation. Knowing that No Fear was in trouble, they bring back the entire rest of the team, and that's 2 unnecessary buybacks for VG. They still have the cheese on Queen of Pain, but they lose the Aegis that they spent so much work getting. Lone Dock, meanwhile, Plum Plum just taking care of this bottom lane. He had to buy back as well, I believe. So let's take a look at the buyback status now. We've got 5-minute cooldown basically triggered on Alchemist, on ZSMJ, on Queen of Pain, on CTY, and on Lone Dock on Lone Druid. So VG only have buyback on 3 heroes, and they're the least 3 important heroes that they have. And actually, they don't have the money for it, so never mind. ZSMJ, he has the Javelin. This is going to be a basher. The stuns will be very useful for him, and there's no reason for him not to buy out. I honestly think the game will be over before people's buyback cooldowns come back up, and this is the question. We have buyback on Phantom Lancer. He could actually finish Butterfly and still possibly have buyback, and this is a big deal. This is a big PL. This game still, even with a 30,000 gold advantage for VG for the last 15 minutes, could absolutely swing in either way, and folks, what a way to end Day 6. What a way to end our Eastern Conference group stage, right? Either way, this game is going to be a I meant to say blowout, but it's actually not a blowout. A blockbuster is, I think, what I meant to say. Smoked up for TnC. They want to try to find a kill. They think they can... Oh my god. This is a total bait. It's a pushing bait. They want VG to come down the left lane, the top lane, and try to end the game. And if VG do, they will fall into the world's most obnoxious trap. But I don't think VG fall for it. VG just not quite interested enough in actually doing that for that bait to work. I like the thinking, I like the gutsiness, but unfortunately it just doesn't end up doing it. Boots of Travel for XTT. Let's do a final checkup of what people's items are going to be in this game. We have Shivas. We've got 2 sights on VG. We've got Aghanims. Oh, actually a blink coming out. VG are chasing. They want to pick up the back of this bait as the heroes of TnC retreat. Could they get Aaron? No. They make it safely to base. TnC still playing on the defensive. They need to wipe VG to actually win this game. If they wipe them, they win. If they don't, I don't know how they win. Fi just farming the Ancient stacks. Look at how big this Lina is. This is the biggest Lina I've seen in any game in quite a while, because usually we do see her played as a hard support. Not in this game. I mean, she is a hard support, but VG have so much gold that Fi has managed to find the farm. I still worry about the supports of TnC. Let's look at the levels. We have level 12 Bane and level 13 Keeper of the Light. At 60 minutes into the game, these guys are 12 and 13. Fenrir is level 16. Fi is level 21. This Lina is a genuinely big deal. In fact, I might be flamed a little bit for saying this, but I wouldn't mind seeing FY build his next item as an auto attack item. If they make another Daedalus, that would actually be pretty good damage, considering his attack speed with 4 ranks of Fiery Soul is going to be incredible. I mean, he has his choice of 6 items, why not make a Daedalus? The other question I have about this game is neither team ever built a pipe, and they just don't seem to care about it. TnC, obviously, Tushy just hasn't been able to find the farm to make this stuff, but I really wish that TnC had a pipe, and honestly, I don't think VG would be remiss picking up a pipe either. It's not their proximate problem, but it is a problem. I mean, the fact that Tinker does deal all that damage, the fact that Keeper of the Light is throwing out Illuminates, maybe they're not the biggest Illuminates in the world, but they're non-trivial. Queen of Pain CTY is actually up to 3k gold again, so actually I was wrong. The game will end after the next set of buybacks, so the buyback for Lone Dock for Pomplom is actually going to come up pretty soon. The buyback for CTY and ZSMJ is in about 1 minute, and so the game has slowed down enough that these two teams just don't have a strategy quite yet to break each other. I mean, I honestly doubt that they're going to like, what item do they need to build to feel confident enough to actually fight? I honestly don't know. Now, this Phantom Lancer, he's pretty maxed. The only thing remaining for him is to save up buyback and buy Boots of Travel instead of Tranquil Boots. But he is doing quite well otherwise. I mean, he's got Butterfly, he's got Diffusal, Manta Style, Lincoln's, which has actually helped and gives him good stats, and Heart of Tarask. This is a extremely dangerous Phantom Lancer. In the net worth, this is 30k. And we have a 30k Alchemist. And we have a Queen of Pain that's approaching 30k. I mean, these are big, big heroes with a lot to offer on every hero. And the spoiler, I still think, could be Phi, because this Lina is doing just incredibly, incredibly well. Basically, at this point, VG have 4 cores, and TnC have 3 cores. So it's an area where maybe the scales could be slightly tipped in favor of TnC. Now, I'm interested to see what Tinker actually makes next, because I feel like Bonjour Lay actually has a lot of options. He's got this Ghost Scepter, this is excellent to stay alive. He has the Scythe of Vice, he's got the Blink Dagger, these are all locks, and he needs either the Bottle or the Soul Ring, although I think he will ditch one of them. Are TnC pushing? Yes, they are. They will actually seek to take the Tier 2. I don't think anything's stopping them from taking this. Oh my god, look at how quickly this Tier 2 falls. About 2 seconds to actually bring that down from full. And TnC, I think they feel good. They've got this big Phantom Lancer army. Will they peel back or will they seek to push? I think they're going to seek to take it. If they get another lane of Rax, that would put them at parity Rax-wise with VG. Good blink out from Fenrir. He does manage to escape from the damage there. But here it comes. Here it comes. The Fortify is down. A Light Strike already getting tossed out from the Lina, but this tower will go down, and I don't know, can VG stop them from Raxing? I don't know. Here comes the Vacuum. Here comes the SMJ. He only lands the oh god, Stable Concussion out too, but there comes the Sonic Wave. Lots of damage getting thrown out from CTY. Meanwhile, in the back here, No Fear picking off Fenrir, and here comes the duel. Actually, PL is dying way too fast. There goes the PL. Immediate buyback. No buyback on Bane. Buyback on Keeper of the Light is available, and they don't get it. They do not get the Rax. Yes, Bonjour Lay will be able to escape, and they'll be able to escape on Lone Dock as well. So not the end of the world for TnC, but they do spend the buyback on the Phantom Lancer, and that's 5 minutes, no buyback, no supports for 20 seconds. What is our Roshan status? 2 minutes still. So no Roshan for a while. I don't think that's going to come into play just yet, but CTY keeps his cheese, and just TnC ending up a little bit split up there. I think more split up than they would have liked, unfortunately. And so, as a consequence, they lose quite a bit there. The no buyback on the PL. They essentially only kill the Shadow Demon, which is really small pickings. In fact, Fenrir, I think, is just saving. No, he doesn't have buyback, so he needs a little bit of more gold to actually buy back on this SD. They pick up the tower. And that's no small thing, but it didn't take them very long. In a team fight that they actually won, I think TnC would have no issue actually picking up that tower. So, the tower is a small win, but it's not a big win. They would need to actually get more done in that respect to make sure that they, to actually feel good about the progress here. So, I don't know. Are TnC checkmated? Because the Phantom Lancer died so quickly in that last fight that the question then becomes, how can they possibly keep the Phantom Lancer alive in any fight? If he already has a heart, could we see the Invictus Gaming 2-heart special? I think we actually could. It might actually be a good idea. The more I think about it, the more I like it. They actually have a problem. Let me talk about what their problem is. This Phantom Lancer bought back. He has 1,800 gold. But, he has no charges on his defusal. So that's actually a pretty big deal. Being able to slow somebody, being able to purge someone down means to make sure that the Phantom Lancer can stay on them permanently and just immediately bring them down. So they want defusal charges, but you actually cannot buy another defusal recipe to recharge a defusal level 2. You need to buy the item all over again. And that's expensive. That's money that Phantom Lancer doesn't have to spend right now. He can buy out because he doesn't have buyback, but I think he should also be considering the Invictus Gaming second heart. Because even with one heart, he's dying so quickly to this auto-attack Queen of Pain and this auto-attack Alchemist that he just doesn't have the survivability to win these fights. Because they're not going to win a fight that Phantom Lancer isn't dealing damage in. The Lone Druid isn't enough. He's got MKB on the Bear, and it's not enough. It's enough to bring down towers and nothing else. VG want the Roche. The Roche is up in seconds, and I don't know that TnC are actually ready to disrupt this. Roche against a Darkseer is so difficult. He can vacuum you, he can put up the wall, and he can just deal an incredible amount of damage, but they're going to try. TnC no, but the problem is Roshan dies in sub 10 seconds, and they're going to go in on the fight. Fenrir may get picked off quickly here. Actually, what an incredible vacuum to the low ground. Bonjour Levy, Tinker getting killed immediately. We do see the immediate buyback. CTY has to pop cheese. He is locked down for now. The Sonic Wave not hitting on much, but they're going to lose the Phantom Lancer. They're going to lose No Fear. If he survives, will he steal the cheese? He steals the cheese. That's excellent of him. They do manage to pick down... oh, he's going to get out. No, he gets stunned. He gets out. Wow. No Fear makes it out. Did he sell the cheese? He actually sells the cheese. Incredible. Incredible. Aegis is up on XTT. 27 seconds respawn for Tushy. This is TnC's last stand. VG are looking to end this. They really, really, really want to end this. Maybe by Megas, maybe by Ancient. No buyback on No Fear. Excellent survival there. If No Fear had died, this game would actually be over. But it's not. They've got BKB on the Tinker. They're actually getting kills down to the bottom. That's totally my fault for missing that. They do pick off the Bane. This isn't the biggest deal, but this could be the biggest deal. Here comes the Bear. The Bear is actually getting picked off. Fenrir might be dying in the back. No, and they get a Rax as well. Lone Doc taking a lot of damage. No Fear is in here. He's trying to do his best, but he cannot duel. He is not strong enough to duel. Lone Doc getting away with the Ghost Scepter. They're trying to pick off No Fear. The Lincoln's absorbs a hit, but it doesn't absorb the Unstable Concoction. There goes the Phantom Lancer. That might be game. A godlike streak for FY. And VG, I think they've done it. They have 94-second respawn on the Phantom Lancer. How can they possibly defend this? I think this is Megas, and after Megas, I think it might be game. Maybe they needed that second heart on the Phantom Lancer sooner. XTT does lose his Aegis, but they took the PL, and the PL has no buyback still. He's still got the cooldown up. 24 seconds until his buyback. Maybe they'll stick with it. That's C Dodo stubbornness. They don't want to just give up. They might be able to defend tier 4s if Phantom Lancer comes up. He's still got 15 seconds, 15-second buyback. If they can take CTY, that would be a big deal. He has Mjolnir. He is actually locked down. They take down CTY. That's a big deal. He does buy back. Queen of Pain is back. Here goes last tier 4 tower. This will be a fight for Ancient. They do not have Fortify. Actually, that was the first tier 4 tower. Here comes the second one. Phantom Lancer. He doesn't have enough money? No. He buys back. Aaron has Fiend's Grip, ZSMJ. There's the defensive disruption. No Fear is in here. He Manta styles. ZSMJ just wants the tower. He doesn't give a crap. He just wants to beat down that final Ancient. Oh, he is actually slowed down. ZSMJ. Does he have buyback? Oh, yeah. He has 10,000 gold. Oh, my God. They might defend their Ancient, but they're not going to get much other than the kill on ZSMJ here. Actually, Fenrir coming back in rather than TPing out. That was a mistake. He's going to get picked off, but he has buyback as well. No, he's alive. CTY in the back. He's going to take down Tushy. FY and CTY, they have too much damage. No Fear trying to duel, but he can't. ZSMJ bought back. He boots a traveled in, and there goes the game, folks. 68 minutes to decide our final East Division group stage game, and all I can say about that is welcome to the playoffs, people. Our first playoffs quality game comes in our last game before the playoffs kick off. Group D, VG finally facing some sort of opposition in this group. From TnC, thenet.com, their team played absolutely excellently. Very, very well. Good farm on the Phantom Lancer. Good play. The correct item builds. And in the end, VG just too big across too many characters. CTY showing off his traditional flair, going for the Sing Sing style auto attack Queen of Pain. I loved this in the end. I thought it was somewhat dubious, but it just gave them an overwhelming amount of damage and the ability to punch through those high armor heroes. I mean, Phantom Lancer with that agility gain has high armor. Lone Druid has high armor, and so you need auto attack. You need to be able to get through their HP pools by auto attacking them down. And ZSMJ, even with the slow start, 723 GPM in the end, a panoply of items actually amassed on these players. Fi, you gotta say, he is anchoring them as far as support goes. His Rubik has been incredible, his Shadow Demon has been great, and this Lina performance, I mean, just look at the items on this Lina compared to this level 13 and 14, these anemic leveled supports on TnC. In the end, VG gets too much for too long on too many, and they improve their record to 3-0, advancing first out of the group. TnC, we will see them again in this tournament. They play second in Group D. That will seed them into the losers bracket of the playoffs. Thank you guys so much for watching this. This has been the Netolic Raidcall Pro League East Division. Today is day 6, the final day of group stage games. We will resume this tournament in 9 hours with the West Division day 6. Different teams will be playing. You can check it out on our website, www.netolic-raidcall.com, Netolic. Thanks to everybody on Dota TV. We really appreciate you picking up that tournament ticket, and we hope you've been enjoying the coverage of the game so far. Thanks to everybody watching on streams. Obviously, if you're watching this, the official English language stream, Netolic TV, Netolic TV. Or if you're watching any of our other English streams or the foreign language streams, what I like about this tournament is that it is being covered in multiple languages. No matter sort of what you speak, I think you can find a caster who can help you out in terms of being able to talk about the game in an interesting way. So, that will conclude that. That will conclude our broadcasts for the day, except for the Western games later on. Thank you so much for watching again. I am Vykromond, Vykromond. You can find me on my website, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. If you like this cast, please feel free to give me feedback. I will be watching Twitch chat for a little bit after the stream ends. We will also, of course, rebroadcast this game, because why would you not rebroadcast this game? We went to 70 minutes. We saw maxed out heroes all across the board. Just a remarkable game all around, and I'm glad you guys got to enjoy it with us today. Thanks, everybody, and we will be back soon.